Okay, kids, remember, I am going to do a live lesson at 1 o'clock on Monday, which would be April 6th. Okay, so there'll be a live lesson where you can ask questions, but in case you need an additional video to kind of assist in addition to the live lesson, or if you can't make the live lesson for some reason, this will be available for you. Okay, so I'm going to go somewhat quickly here because, again, I'll take more time in the live lesson, but I'll still talk through this thing. So I've got a bunch of problems to do here. First, these first four should be reviewed. There's nothing new here. Square root of 36 is what? Square root of 36 is just plain old 6. Turns that 2 into a 12, and you're actually done with this problem. You just have an answer of 12. There's no root. Okay, here, remember, an even powered variable. You just cut that power in half and bring it out to the front. Now, what's inside? We have this odd power variable. So we reduce the power by 1. Remember, x to the 4th times x would be x to the 5th. So that's why we can do that. Now we've created this even power. So half of that would be x squared. That comes out and joins the y to the 4th. What's left inside? You got that lonely x in there. Okay. Down here, again, this is review. Break up the 24 to 4 times 6. Square root of 4 becomes plain old 2, turns that 3 into a 6, and you have this root 6 left in there. Here we're multiplying, so you multiply the plain numbers in the front. So 4 times 2 is 8. Root 3 times root 6 is root 18. Now we're not done with this one because you can break the 18 up to, whoops, mistake there. You break that 18 up into 9 times 2. Square root of 9, of course, is 3. Comes out and turns that 8 into 24 because you're multiplying, and you have that root 2 left inside. So those should have all been reviewed, especially the first three. Number 4 might have been a little bit tricky. Okay, now 5 and 6, and actually 5, 6, 7, and 8, we did these before break, but I know you struggled a little bit before break, so we're going to revisit these again right now. So this is called rationalizing the denominator. You are not allowed to leave a square root in the denominator, okay? I'm going to show you how to get rid of it. First of all, you cannot just divide these two things because this is in a root and this one's not. So what we do, whatever the denominator is, remember, we're doing a live lesson at 1 o'clock on Monday. Whatever the square root is in the denominator, you multiply by that over itself. Now remember, anything over itself is 1. So we're not changing the value of this, we're just changing how it looks. Now the reason why we multiply by root 3 over root 3 is watch what happens. Remember, there's an invisible 1 in the front here. So 6 times 1 is 6. So you have 6 root 3 in the top. But root 3 times root 3 would be root 9. And you guys all know that root 9 is plain old 3. That's why we did times root 3, because a root times itself ends up canceling the root out. And you end up with that plain old 3. I showed this intermediate step here. Now 6 over 3 reduces to 2, so our final answer is 2 root 3. Now I'm going to do another one here. It's the same thing. So remember, because this is root 2, we're now going to multiply by what? Root 2 over root 2, which gives you 8 root 2 over root 4, which gives you 8 root 2 over plain 2. Remember, that's why we did this. A root times itself cancels out the root. gives you plain old 2. Now here, these things don't always reduce. Both of these do. 8 over 2 is 4. So that's our final answer for that one. Okay, now these two are a little bit different down here. This one's a little bit messier. Notice how you have this 3 in the front? Don't worry about that. That's not a problem. It's not a problem to have a 3 in the denominator. The problem is the root. So we're going to multiply by root 10 over root 10, just like we did in the previous two problems. But a little bit more involved. Again, invisible 1 here. So 2 times 1 is 2. And then you get root 30. And down here you have 3 times this invisible 1 is 3. Root 10 times root 10 is root 100. Now the top doesn't change in this step. Remember, square root of 100 is plain old 10. Comes out and turns that 3 into 30. Now, we always have to reduce things if we can. And you see these numbers in front are plain numbers. So 2 over 30 is the same thing as 1 over 15. Now, I'm not going to write the 1 because it's 1. This root 30 is still there. We don't need to write 1 root 30. It's just understood. Okay? Again, if you ever want to pause and try one yourself, you can. You know, this one's just like the one we did. If you want to pause it, give it a try and start the video in a moment, you certainly may. Multiply by root 5 over root 5. So the top is 5 root 5 over 3 root 25. Top stays the same. This becomes plain old 5, turns that 3 into 15, and we can reduce 5 over 15 is invisible 1 over 3. And there you go. Okay, these top two are review. So you might want to pause here and see if you can do these yourself. This is stuff we did last week. Break up 18 to 9 times 2. That comes out as 3. So we have 3 root 2 plus root 2. Now this is commonly missed, this last step. There's an invisible 1 here. So 3 root 2 plus 1 root 2 is 4 root 2. Break up the 12 to 4 times 3. That comes out as 2, turns that 2 into 4. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. And we're all set. Okay, some new stuff down here, so you got to be on the ball. Hopefully you see this stuff in front and you think distribution. These are both in the root. So root 2 times root 8, that would be root 16. You can multiply those. These are different. You see, this is a root. This is just a 4. Remember, there's an invisible 1 in front here. So we multiply that 1 times the 4. So that, you know, root 2 times a negative 4 is just negative 4 root 2. Now, square root of 16 is just plain old 4. And we're actually done right there. You cannot combine those because they're not like terms. Okay? If you want to try this next one, it's kind of the same thing. Distribute. Root 3 times root 27, that's root 81. Remember, there's invisible 1 in front here. 1 times, so you get 1 root 3, but you don't write the 1. Square root of 81 is just 9. So we're actually done there. Okay, just a couple more. Root 6 times root 6 is root 36. Root 6 times 5 is 5 root 6. This becomes plain 6. And we're done. Invisible 1 here. 2 times 1 is 2. Root 3 times root 3 is root 9. 2 root 3 times that, of course, is just 2 root 3. This becomes a 3, turns it into a 6. And we're done. Now listen, folks, I know I went a little bit fast there. If you got to go back and pause, rewind, play it again, whatever you got to do. Screen will come back in a second. There it is. Do what you got to do. But remember, if you're looking at this ahead of time, I'm going to do a live lesson at 1 o'clock. The Zoom link will be posted to Canvas homepage. Okay. 1 o'clock on Monday will be the live lesson. See you then.